Westeros has terrible fathers, so many terrible fathers that this is in fact the second time I'm making this video because there were too many terrible fathers to fit in the first one. Take a shot every time I say terrible father. So once again, I am ranking 5 of the most terrible fathers in Westeros. Please remember this will be a vibes-based list. It's been a minute since I've done one of these, and I am the vibe. These are my opinions, these are my thoughts. If you disagree, if you go, oh no, you didn't include so-and-so, I'm so sorry, you'll just have to live with that. And no, I'm not going to include Stannis on this list because it's a books-based account, and he has not burned any children in the book so far. Okay, let's get into it. Okay, let's start off in absolute hell with a Greyjoy, because of course we need to start at the bottom of the list with a Greyjoy. Here's Balon Greyjoy. He sucks. He's Theon's father, and honestly, like, he makes me feel bad for Theon. I remember reading the books for the first time and being like, Theon is irritating the shit out of me this whole time. Then you meet Balon, you're like, oh, I get it. And it's the same in the TV show. This man sucks. He is so cruel to his son who has suffered, like, a ridiculous amount of trauma, even though like he was taken in by a good family, but these these feelings of like rejection by your own family, and like that desire to eventually like come back home triumphant and be reunited. This man, he doesn't give a shit about any of that. He continues to let Theon feel terrible about himself, continue to feel unwanted, and honestly, it's what leads Theon to make the stupid decisions that he ends up making because he's desperately seeking the approval of this terrible man. Keeping the shit train going, we have Randall Tarly here. This is Samwell Tarly's father, and god, he sucks. So Randall Tarly is uniquely terrible because, I will say, unlike Balon Greyjoy, he just straight up threatens to murder his own child. So Randall Tarly spends most of Sam's childhood actively torturing him because Sam, is fat and not very talented at the physical stuff that Randall wants him to be talented at. And so he just continually puts him through like literal torture, like all of these different like exercises and magical rituals and shit that's supposed to like turn him into like a big strong guy or whatever, and obviously doesn't work. Then, of course, when he gets another son, he completely ignores Sam altogether and focuses all of his attention on this child, leaving Sam alone. Ultimately, it's good for Sam for a while, until Randall decides that, Sam shouldn't be in the picture anymore. And this is when Randall Tarly brings Sam out into the woods, and while skinning a deer, basically tells him that, you're gonna go to the Night's Watch, or tomorrow, you're gonna come on a hunt with me, and I am going to make sure that you have an accident, and I'm going to kill you. I'm literally, gonna hunt you down and kill you in these woods, should you try to run, should you try to do anything. Truly, this man is so despicable. I cannot stand him at all. And then when we do get to meet him, outside the context of Sam's recollections of him, you get to meet him through a Brienne POV, and guess what? He's a raging misogynist. Shocking! In short, fuck this man and fuck the horse he rode in on. No one likes you. I hope bad things happen. I hope Daenerys does get to burn you in the books. Next, we have, of course, Mr. Creepy Vampire himself. We have Roose Bolton here. This is Ramsay Snow's father, and again, he's just a uniquely terrible, person, but also dad. Of course, there's the obvious. This is the man who brought forth Ramsay Snow into the world. Ramsay being a demented character, full of despicable violence and cruelty, which we can see where he gets it. Because while Ramsay is kind of this out of control, feral dog, he is no less, I would say, evil than his father. His father is just a little quieter about it. And then there's the case of Roose's true-born son that gets cut from the TV show, who Ramsay basically just kills and Roose lets him. So if you didn't know, Roose Bolton did have a true-born son. His name was Domeric, and by all accounts, he was just a nice person. Just a sweet kid who, at the end of the day, acted like a normal fucking human being. So, of course, we can't have that. We gotta be tough because we're a secret vampire and we like death and destruction over here. Yes, there is a theory that Roose Bolton is a secret vampire. I've done a video on it. It's very fun. But anyway, Domeric eventually finds out about Ramsay, his illegitimate brother, and wants to spend some time with him, wants to get to know him, and Roose allows this to happen, and basically allows Ramsay to kill his son because he thinks that his son is kind of weak. Again, just father of the year over here. What the fuck, dude? by some miracle, you birthed a normal fucking human, and you go, ew, gross, I don't want it no more. I'm not a Stannis fan, but I really hope Stannis, just burns his fucker alive. Okay, and at number 2, we are bringing it back to the Greyjoys, because why the fuck not? Now, if you've only seen the show, you might be a little confused why Euron Greyjoy is here, but in the books, he has children, quite a number of them, and boy, is it horrifying. Because in the books, Euron has a ship called the Silence, and on the ship there are a number of crew members who are basically his bastard children that he's been collecting from around the world. But he considers them to be uncivilized, and I think he uses the word mongrels, icky. And also, another fun fact, if you were a crew on his ship, the Silence, well, you don't get to keep your tongue. So yes, Euron Greyjoy fathers a bunch of children, a bunch of boys, brings them on the ship, cuts out their tongues, and makes them, be his sailors? Okay, the TV show did not do this man justice. He is so utterly terrifying and fucked up. I truly will never get over the fact that they turned what I just described into the Hot Topic pirate here. Now, before number 1, we have an honorable mention here, and that is, of course, Vizzy T himself, Viserys the First Targaryen. Look, this guy is a complicated character. The show does some very interesting things with him. The books, he's a little simpler, and that's really what I'm going to be critiquing here, is just this man, again, just is so oblivious to everything around him. He just wants to have a good time, and he wants to party, and he wants to chill, and because of that, he ignores just all this shit brewing around him, doesn't secure his daughter's claim despite putting her in that position, and just leaves everything open for all the mess that's going to ensue. So for that, you get an honorable mention, sir. You did a bad job. But then, of course, at number 1, we have my least favorite Targaryen king himself, Aegon IV, Aegon the Unworthy. And I would argue the worst father in Westeros. Why? Because his terrible fatherhood skills lead to wars, multiple wars, destruction, thousands of deaths, because he's a terrible father. Now, if you don't know, Aegon IV, he had a bunch of children. He had a bunch of children, but only a couple of them were legitimate, as in, with his wife. And ironically, it is the boy that he has with his wife, Daeron, that he absolutely hates the most out of all of his children. He does not like him. He thinks Daeron is a party pooper, because he's hey, what if we ran the country instead of, taking on our 9th mistress, huh? And so Aegon continually undermines Daeron, and even stirs up rumors that Daeron himself is illegitimate, and the illegitimate son of Aegon's brother Aemon with his wife Nerys. And so, after stirring up all of these rumors and making, people side-eye Daeron, what does this man do on his deathbed? A deathbed that, by the way, he's on because he's literally rotting in his own poop to death. Poop death. Anyway, on his poop deathbed, he goes, okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to legitimize all of my bastard sons right before I kick the bucket. I'm sure that won't cause any issues. It causes issues. Eventually, one of those sons, Daemon Blackfyre, a lot of people think that he's better suited to the throne. He starts to come around to that way of thinking as well, and that is what instigates the first of 5 Blackfyre rebellions. These rebellions continue to plague the Targaryens in Westeros for the next 100 years after this man's death. The last one is put down by Barristan Selmy. The guy we know in the present who's with Daenerys right now? That guy? Sir Grandpa. But Sir Grandpa has to literally put down the last one, because that's how long this shit lasts. It lasts 100 years. Again, just so much death and destruction, all because this man is just a petty as shit father. Congratulations, Tubbs. You did it. You're number 1 again. Anyway, I'm sure there are many more fathers that you think are terrible. Please let me know who they are in the comments, as well as anything else you want me to rank. I haven't done rankings in a while, so I'd like to get back to these. Please give me some ideas, though. Anyway, you guys are cool. Hope you all have a great night. Okay, bye.